go through the effort of having a professional come and clean your chimney. For those that don't know how your fireplace works, this down here is simulating your firebox, okay? Your firebox is the part in the house that actually is where the fire is contained. Your chimney going up should then be just allowing the smoke and other particles to get out. Now over time, if you don't clean that, the products inside of your chimney liner can actually become flammable and catch fire. So if you see something like this outside of your house, this is not a normal thing. That's not a normal functioning chimney. And it's kind of human nature to say, well, what we're going to do is we're going to wait for it to go out, or we're going to, see if we can help it. The problem is, for those that have our little thermal imaging cameras, you can see that this chimney chute right now is probably a couple hundred degrees at least, I'm guessing. It probably looks red hot on those cameras. This is now resting against your house and other combustible materials such as wood framing and so on. So this will turn into a house fire if not addressed. So we're going to show you a little bit about how we address it. The most important thing for you all to remember is, one, if you have this situation where your fire is burning out of control, and can anyone hear it? It sounds kind of like a moving wind behind me. If you hear that in your house, your fire is burning quicker than it should be burning. That's a good opportunity to treat it as if your house is on fire. Get out of your house, call 911, let the fire department come and investigate the chimney to see if you've got a more serious problem. So what Captain Hergesel is going to do is demonstrate a little bit about how we approach these types of fires. There's several different types of techniques for how to go after a chimney fire. The basic premise of what we want to do is keep in mind that all of the components of your chimney are meant to be on fire to some degree. Meaning that if we contain the fire inside of the chimney, we can protect the rest of your house. So what we're going to try to do is, using a ladder, or we might use a ladder truck or so on, we're going to get to the top of your chimney and remove the cover that would ordinarily keep the birds and other animals out of it. And we're actually going to try to put out the fire inside of the chimney first and have that start to drop down towards the firebox, which will then contain the fire in a way that we can start to slowly put it out and remove some of the hot components from your house. So at this point, this would be essentially a fully involved chimney that we'd arrive up to. First thing we're going to do is ladder the house, which we're going to simulate with this A-frame ladder. And for those with cameras, if you don't have one, and by cameras I mean these thermal imaging cameras that we've handed out, get near one, because what you'll see is firefighter, or Captain Hergesel, is going to go up and he's going to drop one of these bags, which is filled with a dry chemical. It's really no different than what comes out of your fire extinguisher that you would buy at Home Depot. Same idea. He's going to drop that in there, which will melt the bag, and it's going to drop the temperature of the entire chimney maybe by a couple hundred degrees. So you can see now, we've got dust coming out the bottom. There's no more fire in the top, okay? That dust, that chemical, is now coating the inside of that chimney and giving us an opportunity to get up there with some chains to knock what's left of the debris down. Now maybe if that doesn't work, he'll give it a little bit and he'll watch it, and if the fire starts to take again, or the product that's burning inside of there that isn't supposed to be, he may have to drop another bag down. And again, you'll see that fire will drop by a couple hundred degrees. So I'll let him drop another bag down into our chimney, see how cool we can get it. So at our peak, when he dropped that first bag, this chimney was burning at about 820 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, that's not that far from an average house fire. Your average house fire could be anywhere from that 820 degrees to the upwards of 1600 degrees. So the big takeaways we wanted everyone to get from this, and why we chose to do the demo tonight. One is, when you go home tonight, think about when's the last time you had your chimney cleaned, especially if it's something you use on a regular basis. You want to actually call a professional to come and clean out your chimney, to inspect your chimney, look for things like cracks or other imperfections that might allow what's inside of the chimney into your house. There's two risks with that. The first being the fire, and the second would actually be the introduction of carbon monoxide from the smoke into your house. They will inspect your chimney to make sure neither one of those things happens. The other one is, indirectly, this year's fire prevention theme is all about making sure the smoke detectors work in your house and making sure that you know 2 ways out of the house. It's really important to see that when firefighter Hergesel started addressing that fire, he was able to get it to drop from 800 degrees down to probably a couple hundred degrees where it's at right now. And that happens very quickly when you have a fire. Why I point that out to you is when you hear firefighters talking about the need to isolate a fire away from you and sleep with your bedroom door closed, this is the exact concept we're talking about. Because just the act of having that bedroom door closed behind you could save you from a couple hundred degrees of difference in that fire and actually protect you in the room for a long enough duration for the firefighters to come and find you. So thank you everyone for coming out to enjoy some of our open house tonight, and hopefully you'll take this opportunity to learn a little bit about how your chimney works and to get it clean before we start lighting fires in our fireplace this year.
Thank you.